You're looking at the president and the vice president of the fan club for Scott Larson. Hold on to your pencils with all your questions. You're about to watch the Hashtag Truth with Scott Larson. Don't miss a minute.
Watch it all fall down around you now. Was it ever really worth it? Having your kingdom crumble to the ground because you never had the courage. Stand up, stand up, stand up, stand up, stand up.
Spartanburg Community College is offering free tuition this spring. That means free gen ed classes, free healthcare classes, free manufacturing classes. Visit secgoesfree.com to apply. Dream it, chase it, live it.
All right, everybody. Welcome to Hashtag Truth on a Friday night. Got bored this morning, threw a thing up on my page and had a couple of great people say, hey, yeah, I'll come on. And one of them is my good friend, Chris Thunder Anderson. How you doing, Chris?
I'm good, baby. How are you?
I am doing great. I had a call-in show last night, and you called in, and we were talking about wrestling and what makes a good wrestling show. And when you hit me up and said, hey, if you ain't got nobody, I'll come on, I was all happy. I was like, yeah, we can just continue the conversation.
I'm desperate. I'm not relevant no more, so I gotta get my name out there.
Oh, that's right. That's right. You're one of them wrestlers that got injured and you've been off the shelf for a couple of weeks. So
That's right. Gotta get back out there.
There you go, man. Well, you got a match coming up in December. Do you have anything before that? I know I've got a picture of one that you got in December. Is that going to be your first match coming back since your foot surgery?
Yeah.
Well, tell us what happened with your foot, man. Let's just start with that. What happened with your foot?
All right. So, I had a blister come up on the bottom of my foot on the pinky toe side on my left foot, and it calloused over. It busted, calloused over. Well, then the callus busted and it got infected. Went to my doctor. She said, oh, it's okay. We'll give you some antibiotics. It'll be fine. So I went back 2 weeks later. She said, well, they don't look like it's getting better, so I'm going to refer you to podiatry. So they did that over in Asheville.
Okay.
Went over there, and the doctor looked at me, and she's like, my doctor said, oh, it's like this deep, just like, not even a millimeter or 2 millimeters deep.
Right.
Okay, no big deal. So I go to the podiatrist. And she looks at me and she says, we're going to have to, cut all this out. And I'm like, what do you mean? She said, oh, your foot's, bad infected and it's tunneled. And I was like, well, I didn't think it was that deep. She said, oh, it's not deep this way. It's tunneled and went this way.
Ooh.
And when it went that way, it went like that deep.
Oh, snap. So it tunneled over, then went.
Yeah, it went sideways. So basically I went from the doctor's office. I came home, gathered some stuff, told my wife and kids, hey, I've got to go have surgery. See y'all later. And went back to the hospital. Of course, Missy went with me.
Right.
She stayed with me for about 3 days while I was in the hospital. And then she came home, had surgery on Friday morning. I was on a Thursday, had surgery on Friday morning or Friday afternoon. Was in the hospital a total of about 7 days. Had second surgery to remove the bone in my on the pinky toe side. Nothing major. Right. I can still count to 20, so we're good there. Didn't lose any toes or anything.
Right.
But they did take that bone right here in the side of your toe. Mine kind of stuck out, and she said that's actually probably what caused some of that. There's friction in my shoes and stuff. So took that out, stitched me up good. I walked around in a boot and everything, couldn't put no weight on it for about 2 weeks. Got my stitches out about maybe 2.5 weeks ago. Back in regular shoes, ready to go. So healing up nicely, good. I'm back at it. So as far as training and stuff, so hopefully I'll be back December 3rd.
There you go. There you go, without a doubt. Well, Bru Capone, who's going to be on with us at 7:30, said, "What's up, Thunder?"
How are you, sir?
We're going to talk with Thunder for the first half hour, then we're going to bring Bru on and make it a big old party. But yeah, so you went in, you did the surgery. You said they had to do a second surgery to make sure everything was done. They got that bone spur out of there and stuff like that. Are you walking around on it really good now? I mean, no help you.
Oh yeah, back to what I'm back to my normal. Maybe not back to everybody else's normal, but back to mine. Able to get out and go and do, and like I said, back in the gym and trying to get back to where I need to be. So
there you go, without a doubt. So
successful.
Right, exactly. So how hard is it? I mean, you've probably been, 20 plus years in the business. You probably had, aches, pains after every match like normal wrestlers do. But how many injuries have you had in your career to stop you from wrestling that legitimately stopped you?
As far you talking about just in general or wrestling related?
Wrestling related.
Wrestling related, only one.
Okay.
And that was back probably in end of 99, early 2000.
Okay.
Wow,
so you're talking over 20 years ago right there.
Yeah. I've been extremely lucky. I did back in 97, was in a match with a guy who hit me with it was basically duct work metal.
Right.
And he had rounded corners off, but they missed one. He hit me in the head with it. But the corner that was not rounded, that was sharp as a razor, cut me right here. And I think you've probably seen it a time or two, that scar that I have right here. Yeah. 17 stitches, about 2 inches deep, just laid it open. I went to the doctor. They put me stitches the next Friday night. We taped it, we strapped it, and I was in the ring. So that didn't stop anything. But in like I said, late 99, early 2000, me and Blade were in Anderson, South Carolina, wrestling Randy Malky and Mike Hart. Took a drop kick from Randy. And when I went down, my foot, the mat was just like extremely bad. It was very loose. It was almost like it rolled. So what happened was the toe of my boot got caught in the mat itself and didn't allow my foot to come up. And so when I went down, my lower back landed on the back of my ankle. So I tore every ligament out. I split the cartilage between the two bones in my lower leg. I tore that ligament across the top of my ankle, around the bottom of my ankle. Just about ripped it out of joint. Didn't break a thing, but I tore everything else up. So had to have surgery. Walked around on it for 10 days before I ever went to the doctor with it swelled up this big and black as I'll get out. Went to the doctor. My original doctor that I went to said, well, it's probably just a high ankle sprain, but we're going to refer you to ortho anyway. So I went to orthopedic doctor over in Asheville, walked in, basically made 15, 16 x-rays, looked at me and said, how did you walk in here?
Wow.
Again, one of those things, come back tomorrow, we're doing surgery. So, that's how it goes. When I have to have surgery, it's like right then.
Right.
So anyway, went back, they put everything back in place, put 2 screws in my ankle, put everything back where it goes, walked around in one of those nice big walking boots for about 8 months. Got out of that. The doctor said, okay, if you return to wrestle, we're going to have to take these out because, size wise, you're just a big man. So if they break, they'll have to come out. So went back under the knife, took the screws out, went back through rehab again, for another 3 or 4 months.
Wow.
Back in the boot for about a month on crutches the whole time. But after the screws come out, I had to go through PT, went through PT, got it rehabbed, and I'm back in the ring by probably toward the end of 2000.
Nice.
So but I missed a good 8-9 months.
Wow. And so for everybody who hasn't seen you before, who's watching or is going to watch this show, tell us how long you've been in the business and how you got started and everything.
So been in business since 96. So about 26 years now. Got started just in the gym one day and was talking to Mickey Richards, who's a friend of mine. Was talking to him. He said, hey, we're talking about, things this upcoming weekend. He said he had a show. He was like, I was like, what kind of show? And he was like, oh, wrestling. And so we got talking about that. So he's like, come on, and I'll, get you in and you can see if you like it, So wound up, there was 2 or 3 guys in the dressing room I went to high school with. that were just local
Right.
guys that were doing it, and they were just like, "Oh, you got to do this, man. This is you." So got me in the ring. I trained. I had my first match. I was hooked. Every first bump I took, I was hooked, and that's what I tell people: you take that first bump, and you know right then if this is for you or not. And if you don't know, you better go ahead and stop, because
Right.
you'll never get to where you want to be if you don't think it's for you.
Right.
If you've got any kind of doubt in your mind, and that's just kind of where I was. I took that first bump and got up and said, I got to do that again. As bad as it was, as much as it hurt, the bug bit, and it's just one of those things that when that gets in your blood, you got to go, and you got to go until either you can't do it no more, or it's time to stop. So
right. And only you know that. And only you know
that's
that.
right, and only you know that, and I'm hoping that I still got a little gas in the tank, so I'm not ready to hang them up just quite yet. Some
There
people
you
probably
go.
wish I would, but I ain't ready
Gotcha.
just yet.
I mean, we've talked many times. We've ate broke bread together and spoke for many hours about wrestling. And you have the style of wrestling that I grew up watching, the Memphis style, the ground and pound type wrestling. You get in FTR, if you will, all fists, no flying. You know what I'm saying? And I love that. But you do this one move, and I have to mention it every time I talk to you. It makes me cringe. Now I've seen a lot of people start using it now, but before I guess I wasn't really paying attention. But when you see it live at an indie show up close, I know it doesn't hurt. I know really it doesn't hurt, but it looks like, oh my God, you just broke the guy's arm. Is when you got the guy laying on the mat and you bend his arm back, and then you stomp on it looks like you're stomping on his elbow or his forearm. And I cringe every time you do that, and you do it almost every match now, and it just makes me cringe.
Well, depending on who you talk to is whether it hurts or not, and we'll leave it at that.
There you go.
I've got one individual that I have worked with several times, and over the years, I've known him for years. And every time I work with him, you don't do that to me. Don't you do that thing to me. And every match that we have, I snap him over and I bend that arm and I just grin at him, and he goes, I hate you. I hate you. And
because you've got to sell for it. You have to sell for it because it looks so. If you don't sell for that, that just ruins the whole match.
And the guys that don't get it again. And I I'll tell you where it came from. Because I stole it. I'll just be honest. And
right.
You've probably heard me say this several times. There's probably not a move in wrestling ain't nobody ever done before.
Right.
Okay. I mean, some of these guys are, I intervented in this move. No, you didn't. Right. That was done by so-and-so 30 years ago.
Something. Right. You just changed a little something.
You added a twist to it. You jump a little more than, but it's all been done. But anyway, a bump's a bump. But anyway, watched a match from, oh Lord, I can't remember the pay-per-view now, but it was Dean Malenko and Rey Mysterio. And just Dean worked that arm, old school stuff. And I watched it and I saw it. And Dean just snapped him over, bent the arm, bam, stomped it.
I love Dean Malenko, the man of 1,000 holds.
Oh, yeah.
That man could wrestle. That man was a technical genius in the ring. I loved watching him.
And so I was like, wait a minute. And so I rewound it and I watched it again. And I was like, I got to start doing that. That's cool. So I added my own little spin to it, of course. And, I maybe probably stomp a little harder than Dean did, but that's okay.
There you go.
I tell people all the time, you got to be man enough to take it in this business, because if you can't take it, you better not dish it out.
There you go. I've got to catch up on all these, man. People are starting to come in. I even got a question for you somewhere in here.
Uh-oh.
Joey Godfrey, the owner of HWA in Rutherford, North Carolina. So what's up, Thunder?
Oh, Joey.
We were talking about Luke Fury before the show. He said, what's up, Thunder? Jenny said, what has been your greatest accomplishment in wrestling?
Lordy.
Living through 26 years of it?
Probably. Probably. I think the first time you had me on, that question came up, and my answer was meeting my wife, and I still think that holds true to this day.
Right. There you go. I like that. Brian Cummins said, "What's up, Thunder? Long time no see, bro. Loved reffing your matches back in the day."
Thanks, sir.
Now Luke's calling you Uncle Thunder. He wants something. He's starting to get brownie points now. What's up with that?
I'm gonna tell you, he still hadn't asked for a match yet because he knows how many times me and his dads went to war, and so I think he's still a little bit. I ain't ready for that guy just yet with me. So, and I hope it stays that way for a while. And my oldest son Dylan, is kind of the same way with his dad Nick Fury.
Yeah.
I've watched Luke grow up in the dressing room just like Nick watched Dylan grow up in the dressing room. So,
right.
That's just kind of how it is.
Right.
Good kid, love him, lots of talent. Love the kid.
You versus Luke, you'd have to catch him, and once you catch him, I think then the match would just change.
Well, and it wouldn't take but one time catching him.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. He'd be jumping around, doing all kinds of stuff, and he'll get his shots in, but once you grab hold of him, that's where the whole thing's gonna get twisted.
and as long as I don't catch him in the air, he might have a chance. But if he jumps and I catch him, it's over.
There you go. And
if you don't believe me, ask his daddy.
There you go. Brian said, "I remember reffing a match you were in, and another worker messed up with you, and you stomped his face in." You'll have to give him reference points and dates because he's probably done that quite a few times.
No, I'll be honest. I think I know exactly when he's talking about it.
Oh, look at there.
Yeah. So.
Luke Fury said, "I'm curious to hear what you were talking about." Oh, that's why he tuned in. Okay, I got you. Trust me, I need that match. Haha. There. So Luke's saying he needs that beaten. Okay. Luke Childers, my buddy, what's up? Welcome to Hashtag Truth. He called in last night. I was so happy to hear his voice last night. Luke Fury said, "Gonna take it back to the early 2000s and might bring out the jumpsuit for that match." Uh-oh.
We'll go throwback to the old days with that.
There you go. It's going to be a family affair again tonight. I love it. Dylan said, yes. Jenny Booth said, "Thunder, I have been watching wrestling for a while, and I came across the bunkhouse match you had. I have a question. Was you mad? You hit everyone with something." I believe that was the bunkhouse with the chair.
Yeah.
And I believe
kind of a bad day that day. So yeah.
The biggest recipient of that chair shot was Mr. Caleb Crocker, who I had on hashtag.
Oh no, okay, yeah, you're talking about a different one.
Yeah,
that's
okay,
happened.
So
that's happened a time or two. Yeah,
okay.
That's happened a time or two.
Okay.
There's one. There's that one, the HWA Stampede, which was I guess the one before last. That happened. And then there was one for NAWA that I really wasn't having a bad day. I was really having a bad day that day.
I got you.
And just kind of, I was second entrance in and just kind of eliminated myself when it got down to the Mare Benham. So I just got tired of beating everybody and I just left.
Well, you just put a good intro into putting this up. Let me put this up and then we'll go back to more of the comments. You said NAWA, so what better place? December 3rd, NAWA, Live Professional Wrestling. It's going to be at the Burke County Fairgrounds, Saturday, December 3rd. And this is one of the great matches, Chris Thunder Anderson versus Brady Hawks. Now, Chris was telling me before we came on the show that this was supposed to happen before he injured his foot, but it's going to go down December the 3rd. So tell us about this match.
All right. So a little history. Me and Brady decided we were going to team up. We teamed up the first outing we had, we won the NAWA Tag Team Championships, defended those belts a time or two, had everything kind of going our way. And then he just decides not to show up.
Oh, wow.
Don't know what happened to him. You go back and you watch, I ask, "Hey, Brady, where you at? Are you at home watching Bonanza, out in the bunkhouse, what are you doing? Where you at?" Never got a response. So wound up, I picked Dre White, who's a young, great talent.
Oh, I love Dre
there
White.
in AWA. Worked with Dre a couple times, so got him as a partner. Pretty good filler.
Oh yeah.
But then, long story short, next thing you know, I'm getting a fireball in the face from Ted. I get pinned. We lose the tag belts. Not really Dre's fault. I blame Brady.
Right.
And so since then, of course, part of that injury was, of course, the burns to the face. So I had that time away to heal from that as well. But ever since then, I've called Brady out. I've called him. I've been to his ranch. I can't get him. He won't answer. Can't find him. So December 3rd at Morganton at the Burke County Fairgrounds in Morganton, North Carolina for NAWA, me and Brady Hawks is going to settle this once and for all. That, of course, if he can find his way there.
You might have to send him the address and make sure that it's in his cell phone, and you know how that goes.
Oh, I know exactly how it goes, and Brady knows. We've known each other for a very long time, probably close to 20 years. Brady knows me, and he knows my temper, and he knows he's got me riled up, so he knows the fight's coming. So if he shows up, it's going to be a fight.
There you go. Brian Cummins wants to know, what's the biggest change in the business you've seen over the years?
Probably just kind of the way things go. There, and I'm not trying to, as good as I like to shoot on folks, I won't do it now. But I will say this: I think there's been a loss of respect to the business and for the business with some folks, young and old alike. I'm not going to single nobody out.
I'm going to go ahead and put this up there because you're answering both questions at the same time. He said what needs to change and what needs to stay. So go ahead. Keep going.
Right. So I do think that the respect for the business has changed. A lot of the guys, that's been around as long as I have, we do things different. And a lot of people laugh at us and they make fun of us because, it ain't that way no more. But guess what, guys? What we did and what we do still works. And I've had young guys come to me, in the dressing room and be like, you went out there and you didn't go 100 miles an hour and you didn't do, this and this, but yet that crowd still reacted. How did you do that? And I'm like, boys, it's just, you go out there and you listen, and it's like I said last night when we were talking,
right?
You have to read that crowd and you have to give them what they're there to see. And if you do it the right way,
like playing heel a lot. If you react to somebody yelling at you, you just turn around and just say one thing, like "shut up," and look right at them. That'll make somebody come back the next month or the next week or whenever the show is, whenever you appear at that place next.
I've never been one to threaten kids or threaten folks in the audience. Now I have thrown the ropes open and open challenged folks. I've been known to do that a time or two. And yes, I've rolled out a few times and, kind of challenged folks right there. But for the most part, I let what I do in the ring speak and get my heat for me.
There you go.
In other words, what I do in the ring makes people hate me because that's the part where, like we were talking about last night, I'm taking, I may give that guy a little bit, but I'm taking it back when I do that. And to do that, you don't necessarily have to say anything to anybody.
Right.
I think I told you the story about being in South Carolina, and I told the old lady, the only thing I said the entire match, and she booed me and cussed me and everything else. And I finally just got tired of hearing it. It wasn't even trying to get heat. It was just like, lady, shut up, I'm like,
there's always that one that won't shut up out there in the audience.
And I just wheeled around and I said, and she was and God love her, I wish nothing bad on her, but she was in a wheelchair, and I just looked at her. I said, lady, if you don't shut up, I'm gonna take the wheels off your wheelchair and set you up on blocks. And that was all I said. Didn't cuss her, didn't say nothing out of the way. That was just all I said. Show's over. I go outside. There's 4 guys in the parking lot ready to knife me because I said that to their grandma, I guess. And of course, like I said, my wife's 8 months pregnant at the time and 2 kids in car seats, and I'm driving a minivan, daring 4 guys to come over and let's fight, so. No, I'm like, get in the car. But the very next night at another show, those 4 guys and grandma walked in and I got their money. And all I said to them then was, as I went around the ring before I got in, I just looked at them and said, got your money again, rolled in the ring, and they hated me all night. So it worked out.
Well, I'm gonna catch up on these comments real quick. Then we're gonna go to commercial, and then when we come back, Bru Capone is gonna join us for the rest of the evening. We're gonna get 2 for the price of 1, folks. This is gonna be fun. Jenny said that was at the NAWA show. You were right. I was wrong, but it was still good. Both of them were still good. Luke said he killed them. Yeah, I believe that. Ron Emerson Jr. of the Wrestling Wire. Guys, go check out Ron Emerson Jr. Thursdays and Sundays on his page on Facebook, Ron Emerson Jr. Go check out his Facebook page, and that'll tell you where to hit up his YouTube page. Look up the Wrestling Wire. Jenny Booth, is it normal for you to just beat people up?
Yes.
Ask his kids. I'm just kidding. I'm pretty sure they've got thrown around on a couch or 2 or a bed or 2 in their days, right?
Well, when they were little.
Yeah, you had to practice a few of the moves.
Oh, yeah.
Jody Dobbins, how you doing? Welcome to Hashtag Truth, buddy. Luke Fury said, just want to throw it out there. I would have loved to team against you and Blade. It would have been one of the highlights of my career. That would have been really cool.
And if Blake was still around, I'm sure that match would probably happen.
Brian Cummins said, you remind me of Big John Studd. He does, doesn't he? He's got the same attitude, the same look. I can see it. I see it. Alexander Polk. What's up, Alexander? Welcome to Hashtag Truth. Zach Hester, Mr. I always get these guys mixed up. He is the Prince of the Cruiserweights, Kid Cutter, and then Mr. Luke Fury is King of the Cruiserweights. So we're gonna get a match between those two. We're gonna have to settle that. Luke Fury said if he's Stud, I'm Andre. Oh boy.
All right.
Oh, boy.
All right.
Yeah. Thunder doesn't love Brino anymore. Now everybody's popping in. I promise
just to keep everything straight. I don't know that I ever did.
Chris Thompson, Dump Truck said best person I've ever met in the business. So there you go, without a doubt. All right, we're gonna let Chris reply to all these as soon as we get back from this commercial. And when we get back, I'm gonna have Bru Capone added to the show. I got to do a few switcheroos. So we'll be right back after this quick message from Guy Roofing. I want to thank Guy Roofing again for coming in and re-sponsoring Hashtag Truth. They are a good company. I'm going to put the number up first really quick because in the video, for some reason, they didn't put the number up. So it's 1-800-771-0778 or www.guyroofing.com. And we'll be right back with Bru Capone right after this.
At Guy Roofing, we're a different breed. We eat challenges for breakfast, and hard work is our first language. We're on the road before the sun hits the pavement, ready to get our hands dirty. And we don't quit until the job is done. For over 50 years, we've been putting in the work, going above and beyond to make sure you know you're in good hands. We're not just replacing a roof or fixing a leak. We're protecting your family, your business, and the dreams you built. Because, like you, we dream big. And if the sky's the limit, that's where we're going. We're fierce. We're family. We're Guy Roofing.
There you go, Guy Roofing. And we have with us Mr. Bru Capone. How you doing, Bru?
What's up, Scooter? What's up, Thunder?
What's going on, man?
Chilling, just got through eating pork chops and taters.
Uh-oh. Good old Southern meal. I like that. Might have to come over to your house and eat some dinner, man.
But you got to take that whatever it is on your head off before you come in this house.
Oh, no, sir. That won't happen. I guess I have to stay at home. I'll eat my own potatoes then. This is a mainstay. So what's going on, Bru? What's been going on in your wrestling life, man? Are you still out there leading up the Appalachian Mafia?
Yeah, all I got to say, this is an uncensored show, right?
Of course.
Fuck Venom and fuck both of them. Fuck them both. They left the Mafia. They thought they were bigger than the Mafia. Fuck them both.
Okay. Well, maybe not that censored, but but yeah.
You know,
Okay. So you got some animosity going on in the Mafia.
Animosity. I don't reckon I know what that word means.
You got some problems going on. I forgot. I'm talking to Bru. I got to talk slow. You got some problems in your faction, sir.
Hey, you're not talking to Mask Menace and you're not talking to Mime. I understand.
Well, I just said that. You said you didn't. What? Come on, man.
I'm taking a line from the movie Shawshank.
I'm gonna have to send Chris over there to take care of my light work, man.
I ain't worried about Chris. He's pretty cool.
Yeah, you better say that.
All right.
Dobbins wants to know, Kid Cutter, are you wrestling tomorrow? I'm pretty sure he's talking about HWA. And Kid Cutter said, yes, sir, he will be there. Missy Childers said, I still like you. I don't know who she's talking to. I think that's Bruno's.
I thought she was talking to me.
I think she's
She
talking
better
about
like you. I mean, she's got no choice but to like you. Misty said, censored or not, you should have enough respect for yourself, sir, not to be talking like that. Come on, man.
I apologize.
There are young ladies and kids watching, sir. That's why, you know.
The wife told me I had to apologize, so I'm going to apologize, even though I really don't.
But then again, if you can't take the heat, get out of the kitchen.
Okay, I got you. So, Bru, tell everybody who is watching for the first time here on #Truth how long you been in the business, how you got in, man.
I've been in since about 98, 99. I got in as working as a security guard.
Okay, and I know that you've been a referee, a manager. Have you ever gotten in the ring and actually laced them up?
I did one time, and I got my butt whooped by Yellow Machismo with a paddle. Yep.
Please tell me that's on video. Please tell me that's on video somewhere.
It's on video somewhere. It was my fault. I brought the paddle in. He was bent over. I thought I was going to wear his hind end out. He turned around, grabbed it, wore my butt out with it.
I got you.
And I will say I deserve that one.
Lucy said you need a bar of soap. Dwight Polk said the legends stop in and watch every once in a while. Okay, Dwight, I got you. We'll have to hit you up on hashtag. Ron Emerson Jr., the live wire, said he's on the wrong show. Talking like that. You can go on Ron's show and talk like that all day long, man. Nobody's going to say anything to you, but
I've been on the wrong show since, day one.
I got you. So let me ask you a question, man. You've managed quite a few people in your tenure. Have you ever managed anybody as good as the guy sitting above you, Chris Thunder Anderson?
I will have to say yes. Mr. Number One, George South.
Oh, okay. I could put some respect behind George South. Okay, I'm pretty. Chris was like, "Wait a minute," and then when you said George South, he kind of nodded. So I think we're in agreement there. You were almost going to get a butt whooping, but George South. You can name throw George South all day long, and that's not a bad name. So when's the next time you're going to be wrestling, Bru? Are you going to be when's the next time you're going to be taking your Mafia out to the ring?
That would be tomorrow.
Okay.
8818 West Highway 10 in Vail. ACW's Turkey Bash 2.
Turkey Bash 2.
Yeah.
Okay, I got you. Without a doubt. So let me ask you, both of you guys have been in the business roughly 20-something years. Let me ask you both this question, and we'll get an answer from both of you. Because we asked it earlier, and I'm going to kind of ask it in a different way. The changes that have happened in wrestling from 20 years ago to now, you got a lot more high flyers, a lot more people are out there running shows. And the big joke that's going around Facebook, and it does every year about this time, is, hey, there's going to be a ton of shows pop up because it's income tax time. Do you guys ever, do you care who signs you up for a show as long as they pay you, or does it matter what kind of show you go to? I'm going to start with Chris.
To me, it does.
Okay.
And I'm not, again, not trying to shoot.
Right. No, I'm not trying to knock anybody's show. I'm just saying.
I think early on, young guys, and I include myself in that, years ago, when you first break into business, you do try to get your name out there as much as you can, and you're willing to go wherever. I think over the years, you've learned where to go, where not to go. I don't know if I ever told you about the time we got contacted when Missy was in the business with me, managing me. We were contacted about going to Charlotte and working for a show. And the question came up, so what kind of ring you got? Because that's kind of a question that, you always kind of want to know. Is it metal? Is it wood? Is it plywood? What is it? The guy said, well, it's
16, 18, 20 footers.
16, 18. The guy said, well, it's a wooden frame, and I have tires stacked up underneath it with plywood on it. And we politely said, lose our number. And he was going to pay me well. And I did, the money was there, but I was like, nah, that's not worth going down there and getting killed over. So,
I could see that.
Over the year, and I do, kind of offer that out to some of the younger guys too. They tell me, well, I'm going to go work for so-and-so, or I'm going to go work here. And if I know about them, or if I've worked there, I'll kind of weigh in as far as my feelings, but I don't discourage folks from going unless I just know what it is.
Let's just be honest, because there are some, and I'm going to get to Bru's answer next real quick, but there are just some, and again, I'm not bashing anybody, and I'm not naming names, but me and you and Bru and a lot of us, we've been in wrestling long enough to know there are some owner and promoters out there who always have that black rain cloud around them where, they don't pay their wrestlers, something goes wrong at the shows, and instead of avoiding those people, there's always a show, there's always conflict, and it's good for people like me who is a podcaster and runs a news enterprise for independent wrestling. I mean, it's great. It's great for me because I get news stories all the time, but you never want to go to a show as a wrestler or any, wrestler manager or anything and not get paid, especially nowadays when you got to travel an hour, 2 hours to a show, man. Gas prices are through the roof. And half the time you're not even making money anyway, even when you do get paid. You're just doing it to get your name out there and get some time in. But Bru, go ahead, give me your answer, man. What do you think about that?
Well, I think all the, like I like to call them, fly-by-night shows. They're there one week, then the next week you don't hear nothing from them until another year's gone by because, like you said, they want that people's tax money, and that's it.
Right.
Me personally, I would not work a show like that. Right. I would not work a show where the promoter is shady or, like Thunder said, where the ring's not safe. There ain't no way. I'm not going to get in there and risk me getting hurt and not being able to work. Right.
Without a doubt. I can't even pronounce your name, sir. I'm not even going to try to ruin it. Hey, yo, is what he said. How you doing, buddy? Can you pronounce that?
I can't even see it.
It's down here in the corner. Okay, well, let me see if I can make that bigger. But I know he's a great wrestler. I've heard a lot of great comments about him, but I'm not even going to try to pronounce his name. Let me see if I can change the let's go back to classic. There we go. Now let's see if we can get it up there. There you go. Can you see that?
I can, but I'm blind too. I've got glasses
He
on.
said, call me the real Drago. I will definitely do that, sir, every time you come on. That is the real Drago. How you doing, man? Call me, man, or get a hold of me on Facebook. I would love to get you on the show, by the way. I've heard good things. Ron Emerson Jr. has told me a lot of good things about you, sir. But yeah, and again, I'm not doing this show to bash anybody. I'm not asking these questions to bash anybody. It's just that when you got a couple of guys on here with years in the business, he said, sounds good. Awesome, bro. I appreciate it. Jack Postel's come on. What's up? Jack is my tag team partner. So how you doing, Jack?
Well, Scott, I have a question for Thunder here.
Okay, there you
Thunder, what do you feel about kicking out of finishers? Somebody can hit somebody with 27 finishers and they still kick out. Me personally, I don't like it. I think they're just making themselves look stupid and making themselves look weak and making their opponent look weak by saying, oh, you can hit me 27 times and I'll still kick out.
Well, that's where, like I was talking about a while ago, respect for the business is gone downhill. A lot of guys now think that, it's that Billy Bad mentality. Who are you to beat me with that? And I've ran into that, and of course, if you'll go on YouTube and look at Al Snow's seminars that's on there, he talks about finishers, and there ain't no such thing. And I tend to believe that, and I've heard George South go off on tangents with that as well, and I do kind of believe that. That being said, when I lock that armbar on as a finish, I have had guys come and tell me in the dressing room, "Well, I don't tap out." Okay, we'll see.
That's
I did.
Listen,
I had a guy one night. That came to me at the Eagles when he was in Spartanburg, and Chief told him to finish and said, Thunder's gonna put you in arm bar, you tap. He came to me a little bit ago, and a little bit later, and he said, "We're gonna change that finish." I said, "Why?" He said, "I don't tap out." I said, "Okay." About 20 minutes later, he come back. He said, "Got another finish yet?" I said, "Yeah." He said, "What?" I said, "Arm bar." He said, "I told you I ain't tapping out." I said, "Okay." 30 minutes later went by. He come back. "What's the finish?" "Arm bar." "I told you I don't tap out." So music hits. We're getting ready to go out. As I go through the curtain, he's like, "I hope you changed the finish." I said, "I did. I went out the curtain." I get in the ring, and me and the ref was standing there, and I told the ref, I said, "I don't care what happens at the end of this match. You don't ring the bell till I tell you to." He said, "Okay." He said, "Okay." And I've known this guy for a while, so he was willing to do exactly what I told him to do.
Right.
So we went through the match, and I just, being me, I already had the mentality. He done made me mad, so it's going to be a little tight. We're going to be a little rough tonight. And I roughed him up pretty good. And when he tried to give it back, let me tell you something, guys. Young guys that think they're going to get the old guys back and rough them up don't know what they're doing, because us old guys have been roughed up enough, and we're probably pretty rough on each other to where we know what's coming. So, we're going to not be there when you jump off the ropes. We're going to move. We're going to bump when we're supposed to bump, so you don't get a chance to try to knock home sweet home out of us. But this kid tried that and wound up, looking stupid. And when we went to the finish and I put the armbar on him, I looked at the ref, and the ref was like, "Now?" And I was like, "Not yet." And the kid wasn't, he wasn't going to tap. He was fighting it. And so I cinched in a little more and cranked back a little bit on it. And about the third time I cinched in real good and tight and cranked back, I heard pop, 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 and he went to screaming. And the ref looked at me, and I said, "Not yet." And so he went to slapping my leg, and he hit me so hard on the leg it bruised, tapping out. And after about a minute or two of hanging on good, I said, "Okay, ring the bell." And then we rang the bell, and I hung on for another minute or two, just to kind of get the point across. You don't tell somebody you're not doing their finish. I mean, especially when they're here on the ladder and you're here on the ladder. You just don't.
Right.
That's like going in there and
Right.
telling Ric Flair, I'm not taking the figure 4. I'm sorry, I'm not doing it. I don't tap out. Who are
Right.
you? Who are you? I mean, I don't claim to be nobody anyway, but who are you to tell me? You know, this kid showed up in jogging shorts and a t-shirt and tennis shoes. You know, don't tell me you're not going to put my finish over, and you're not even wearing gear. You know, you look like the bum that should be sitting out there in the front yard eating a hot dog. Okay, I'm sorry, that's just me. And that's
Right.
how I got brought up, and that's just my thinking. Worked a kid
Right.
2 weeks ago when I had worked him before, and we did the same finish, and he tapped out, no problem. We go to this one, tap out, no. You give up yet? No. Did you give up yet? No. Ref looked at me and I just shook my head. And when I got done, we were on the way home, and my kids looked at me and went, "Yeah, we kind of knew, Daddy, you probably hurt that guy." I said, "Why?" Because my oldest son just looked at me and said, "Because he didn't tap out when you told him to, and I seen you shake your head and cinch up on it." So, you know, but you know, as
for those people,
as
and
what
for
Bru's
those,
talking about, Bru's talking about, here's the thing with that is if you're going to hit a guy 3 moves in with a DDT, and Jake Roberts spent 20, 30, 40 years developing the DDT as a finish. What did you do to Jake's career by kicking out of that or using that 3 moves in? I mean, that made Jake look like nobody. I watched Al Snow in the dressing room one night. He went out, he hit a kid with the head. The kid kicks out, and Al let him have it when he got to the dressing room. He told the kid, he said, "Who are you to kick out of this?" He said, I hit Van Vader with that thing, and Vader laid down. Who are you to kick out of it? That's the kind of mentality that you kind of, you know, gotta fight sometimes. Is what you're now. False finishes are a totally different animal. If you're building to something, you know, and it's coming home, and you're really trying to work that crowd and take it home with a big pop, that's a little different. That's a little different animal. But as far as, you know, hitting pile drivers and DDTs and power bombs and all this stuff, you know, 3, 4, 5 matches moves in, you know, in the middle of matches because it's a cool spot. Nah, you're killing the business, kids. You're killing it.
Right.
I agree.
Ron Emerson said, "I want to hear one of these guys getting paid by Tony or Hunter say, 'Nope, I'm not doing their finish.'" Yeah,
Exactly.
they would be fired immediately upon entering the backstage area. But yeah, I get
mean,
that.
and here's the thing, and I've said this to guys. You know, it's we all do each other favors in the business. You putting me over, you're doing me a favor. One of these days, I may get the opportunity to repay that favor. And I've told kids that, you know, go out and like with NAWA TV when they first got started, it was Thunder. You got 3 minutes with this guy. Go out and kill him. You know,
Right.
Okay, so I would tell the kid, today's your day to put me over, but sooner or later, you'll get that opportunity, and I'll pay you back.
Right.
And they were looking at me like that makes no sense. But then maybe a year down the road, and they're more a little bit more experienced, maybe involved more, maybe doing a little bit more storyline, and they wind up back in the ring with me. Then, you know, whether or not that storyline or whatever we're doing entails them, you know, really going over or doing something like that, or maybe it's just, hey, Thunder, help this kid out, get him over. Still want you winning, but make him look good. So that means that I go out there and I give this kid a whole heck of a lot more than I ever did the first time, and I put him over and I make him look like $1 million, and then I squash him at the end, or however. And that's that favor. That's what it's supposed to be. That's the brotherhood part of this business that a lot of guys don't get.
Here's one thing that I've run across too, and I've heard. I'm not a wrestler, so I'm not in the locker room during the shows or whatever. But you know, a lot of shows give me the privilege because of me being a podcaster to go in the locker room, ask people if they want to be on the show, and talk to them for a little bit. And I thank every one of them. I try not to be back there and know what the finishes are. I'm still a fan. I still want to watch the wrestling, so I get out real quick after asking. But anyway, I've noticed that kids don't want to learn, not learn. They don't want to lose in today's wrestling. They think that if they lose in front of people, in other words, what I'm saying is, if a promoter comes up and says, okay, this is what I want to do. You two, I got the bad guy, I got the heel here, I got the baby face here. The heel's going to kick the baby face butt for the next 4 weeks. No matter what match we got, you're going to kick his butt for 4 weeks. Then we're going to put, during that 4 weeks, somehow we're going to put the title on the bad guy. And then the baby face at the end is going to, say, hey, I want one more shot, put the title on the line, and then he gets the big pop. We talked about this last night on our show, on the call-in show. A lot of guys don't want to go through 4 losses to get that big pop win. Why is it that mentality nowadays in wrestling? And I'll give it to both of you.
Well, I think they want everything all at one time. They're done with training. I want a strap. I want a belt. I want to prove to people that I'm the best. Well, get in the ring and prove it. Get in there, bust your ass, pay your dues.
It ain't the belt that makes the wrestler. It's the wrestler that makes the belt. Anybody that comes up and says, I got to have a belt, I'd kick him out of my show if I had a show. That's just me. I mean, if you're there just there to get a belt, you're there for the wrong reason. I want to hear, I'm there for the fans. I'm there for, to make not only me money, but, the promoter money. There's so many things that's wrong with, I gotta win. I gotta get a belt. There's so many things wrong with that statement. And I'm saying that as a fan. I'm not even saying that as a wrestler or a promoter, but I guarantee you there's a ton of owners out there that are shaking their heads going, yeah, I've had a few of those guys.
Well,
Scott, guys like that are hard to work with.
Yeah. Well, Scott, the way I see it, this is what I told Jimmy Mellon, and this is what I told Mike Levy also, because, they both give me a start out, managing.
Right.
I said, I don't care if the Appalachian Mafia wins a match. I said, I'm out there to help get those guys over. I said, I don't care if they win a match.
Right.
I'm going to be out there running my mouth the next show, making the fans mad, making the fans want to see what they're going to do.
Right.
If we get a title, a strap, belt, whatever they want to call it, we do. If we don't, I don't care. To me, being a manager, I don't care about if my guys have the straps. If the promoter thinks they're good enough to get a strap, then they can give it to them. But I don't want them to be entitled saying, well, we deserve this. No, you don't deserve nothing. You deserve to pay dues, and you deserve to bust your ass like all these other people do.
Right, no doubt. I wasn't laughing at you, sir. I was laughing at some of the comments. We're going to catch up. Ron Emerson said, I've only heard Thunder cuss one time in my life, and I ain't been around him much. He said, I told that dumb how that chair was coming. I about died because the dude he hit was almost out cold. Now, I know he's talking about the HWA show right there. But that is kind of funny. And Missy said, Ron, I'm thinking you heard him wrong. I have not heard him cuss in 15 years, and he lives with me. And Ron said, it is possible. I have a terrible memory.
Yeah, I can probably back her up on that. Because I know who you're talking about too, and I don't know. I might have called him something, but I probably didn't catch him.
The real Drago,
and I'll say this, and there's a reason why. 18 years ago, that was probably true. I would have said something like that, probably a whole lot worse. But I'm a firm believer in Scott. You know this. When the Lord gets a hold of a man's heart, he changes his heart and he changes his mouth. And that's exactly what happened to me 18 years ago. And I'm not ashamed to tell it. So
I had one of the foulest.
Now the mean streak, I'm going to be honest, the mean streak's still there. Chris Thunder Anderson's got a mean streak a mile long and a mile wide. Me, myself, when Thunder's in the bag, I can be ornery. And my wife will tell you that. But the mean streak's not as bad.
Right, I got
you. But
when
the boots go on, it's over.
Yeah, I can vouch for that one. I can vouch for Thunder Anderson's mean streak in the ring.
I can too. I've seen it many times. Drago said it's a job. Doesn't matter if you lose or win. Most important to show a good match and story. Damn, I agree with that.
Exactly.
I run the mud for him.
Yeah, as a fan, I agree with what you guys are saying. It breaks my heart to see Especially when you got a big guy wrestling a cruiserweight, I like to call him. If you're under 200 pounds, I'll call you a cruiserweight. You see a big guy, like you said, Thunder Anderson, do a power bomb, third move into the match, and the big guy picks him up and power bombs him. And the little guy, 2 seconds later, he's up and jumping off the top rope. What? What is that? You didn't even sell for a second. You didn't even climb up slowly up. They just hop up on the top rope. It's like you just non-selled one, and you just now I can't look at that big guy the same, because if he can't put you down 100 pounds soaking wet with a power slam, what can he do to put a big man down? What does he have to do to put a big man down? Shoot him in the head? Because it makes no sense, and that's what just kills me nowadays about. And WWE is trying its hardest to get away from that. It was at one time where you'd see 4 or 5 finishing moves in one match before they finally get the 1, 2, 3 up there. And I think when Hunter took over, he's went in the locker room and said, guys, no, we're not doing that. You hit the finishing move, it's over.
Well, Scott, I will say one thing. I ref one of Thunder Anderson's matches one time. Yeah, he was cheating. He was holding on to the ropes, not wanting to go over. He looked at me. He was like, kick me. I'm like, no. He's like, kick me. Kick me now. I kicked his arms. He was like, harder. And when I kicked him harder, of course, whatever.
Yeah, he let go.
Like
right.
He was like, I'm going under. He was like, as soon as you make that 3 count, you leave the ring as fast as you can. And I'm like,
I mean, it makes sense because you kicked him hard. He's going to be mad. As soon as the 3 count happens, he's going to turn his attention towards you. And that makes a great story, because then every time Chris Thunder Anderson comes into the ring and you're the ref, he's going to bark at you. Hey, you better not do this. You better not. And the story begins. I'll tell you somebody who does that, and he does it great. And that is at HWA. Cruiser Lewis does that with Gene Perry. He does it every time he comes to the ring. As a matter of fact, the last show he came to the ring, Gene Perry got injured and couldn't make it to the show. He injured himself at home and had to go to the hospital. And he came to the ring, and he was like, you're not Gene. And he was looking at the wrestler. You're not Gene. He kept the story going, and everybody started laughing. Everybody knew what he was talking about. That's great storytelling. That's what fans are missing in indie wrestling. That's what we're missing in indie wrestling.
I agree. That's what indie wrestling is missing, telling stories. You can put 2 guys in there. They can have a damn hellacious of a match, but if there's no story behind it, how are you going to know what's going on? Oh, they're just putting these 2 guys in here because everybody wants to see it. Okay. Put a story behind it.
You still got to put a story behind it. And again, I'm going to preach it till my dying day. Give me something to invest in. Do promos for the fans. Please, if you own an indie show or you're an indie wrestler within the sound of my voice and you are booked for a show, do a promo. I don't even care if it's a generic, hey, I'm so-and-so, this is where we're going to be the next week, and I'm going up against this guy. I want to know who you are. I want to see what you're about. I mean, even if it's just 30, 45 seconds of you, I want to know something before I get there. You know what I'm saying? And who knows? I might like you from just your promo, and I might be paying the $10 just to come see you.
I mean, I don't know if Thunder Anderson agrees or not, but promos are really supposed to be short and sweet and right to the point. You're not supposed to go on forever like a 5-minute promo. There's no place for that.
No, I agree.
Minute and a half, 2 minutes max. Talk them into the building and be done. I'm just as guilty as a lot of folks. I don't get to cut promos for every show I'm on. A lot of times, I'll be honest, life gets in the way. I forget, I get busy work-wise, family-wise, whatever. So sometimes I forget. And that happens. And I get that, at some point I get that. But at the same time, I agree. I feel like that if, whatever I can do to help, I'm going to do with that. And if that helps, then great. If not, they might be like, oh, Lord, they're having that Anderson guy on there. I ain't going. That may work too. I don't know.
I seriously
doubt that. And Scott and Bru probably knows, y'all been in the dressing room with me and around me. Y'all know I'm not about me. I mean, I'm one of the few guys, I hate to say it that way, but
if
I'm not
you
out
were in
to
a locker room with Chris
I
Dunbar
know what
Anderson and,
I know what I'm capable of. I
right,
know what I've done in the business with my past for 26 years. I know what I've done. And Scott, I think me and you've talked. You know, the shows I've
right,
been on and the guys I've
right,
worked over the years. You
right,
know, nobody can take that away from me.
right,
You know, my place in this business now is to come in and help guys learn this business. At least this is where I feel like I'm at.
right,
Help guys learn this business. Um, and get them ready to carry this business on for another 20 years after most of us, you know, old guys are gone. And I say that, you know, about guys that have been 15, 20 plus years in this business,
right,
because we got to get this younger generation as older wrestlers, as older talent. We have to get these young guys ready to go and
right,
get them to understand and grasp this business, because if not, it's going to be laughable. I hate to say it that way. And I don't want it to be that way. You know, it's like me and you talking about before we went on. You know, I'm sitting here watching, you know, Starcade Skywalkers. And I told Scott, I tell everybody else too, that's research for me. Because that's where, you know, that's where I train. I watch that old stuff, and it refreshes, because you
right.
look and you watch, you know, if you've been in the business, you watch it different
That now
now.
make sure you're telling people that's part of your training.
Oh
You
yeah, I
don't
mean,
just watch videos.
I
You
spent my
get in the
time in the
ring.
ring and in the weight room and all that stuff too.
Yeah.
You know, and I'll go ahead and tell you, you know, I have a gym here at the house. It's out back. Went out there earlier tonight, and it's rained here all day. Went out there, there's, you know, 4 inches of water standing, so didn't really get a chance to really do anything tonight other than squeegee water out of the building. But you know, so cardio, I guess, was what I got tonight. But anyway, you know, that's where we're at, guys. Is we have to get this younger generation ready to go to carry
Right.
this business on and make it what it is. And watching I tell guys all the time, watch this old stuff, because that's where you learn. Hey, man, listen, watch him. He took his time. One of the best matches I've ever saw was, and you can find it on, you know, on Peacock or the network, whatever it is now, was Ole and Magnum TA and one of those Crockett championship challenge series that they had on TBS. It's like 85, 86, somewhere in there on the TV stuff.
Right.
They went 20 minutes, which was time limit on TV, back and forth, and just the psychology of that match. Watch it, and you'll just be like, it will suck you in if you watch it for what it is. You'll be sucked in by the psychology of that match. It's, you know, granted, you know, Ole was kind of one of those guys that, yeah, he was tough as nails and he knew the business and he was, you know, over and part of the Horsemen and the whole 9 yards. But at the same time, he knew how to take guys and make them more than they could ever be by themselves.
Right.
Tully was that way. Arn's that way. Flair's always been that way. Some of those older guys like that, you know, and that's just the NWA guys. And I'm not even touched the guys that were in WWF, you know, years ago that could do that. That's what it's about. And if we don't step up, like I said, some of those older guys, and I'm not saying we got to get out of the way, because if you want my spot, you better be man enough to take it. But at the same time, I'm here to teach you till you are man enough to take my spot, or I give it to you. And I'd a whole lot rather give it to you.
Right. Missy said sometimes promoters put who they want to see, not who fans want to see. Chief used to do a show with fans' choice. All the wrestlers surround the ring and fans would choose the match. I loved it. Now, that's a good idea. I would love to be at a show like that.
That makes for some interesting matchups when it happens.
Sean Duffy said, boy, it sucks being late, but it's never too late to say hello and good evening from Fallen, Nevada. What's up, Sean? You guys got to learn how to count votes over there in that part of the country, man. I'm just saying. I ain't going to get into detail. You already know what I'm talking about, but it's all good. Missy wants to know, Robert, where do you wrestle at? Oh, okay. Never mind. She's talking to somebody in the chat room. Create a gimmick and cut promos for Smoky Mountain Wrestling. He's talking about our E-Fed. Okay.
Scott.
I'll let Scott ask my usual question. All right. Either one of you ever thought about doing a West Coast tour?
No. I'm happy here on the East Coast.
I've always been open to go wherever, you know, and I hate to say it this way, but at this point, as long as the money's right.
Right.
You know,
I mean, they
and I
fly
hate
you
to be, and I
over.
hate to
They
be that
fly
way.
you
I
over.
mean,
They
I
give
ain't
you
trying to
money.
be, like I'm high and mighty by no means, but
Right.
we all know it takes money to go places. So, the furthest I've been, and you know this, Scott, is Memphis.
Right.
The furthest west I've been. So,
Right.
uh,
And you
I
wrestle
wouldn't
that
mind
style.
going
You
further.
wrestle
I
that
mean,
style. So
I've
Memphis is
been
a
to
perfect
California,
spot.
but I was 14 years old when I went.
Yeah.
So, that don't count.
Please go back above and ask my question. What did I miss? Oh, okay. Sorry about that, Missy. I missed the question. Missy said, "So I have a serious question. Does it hurt worse if you slap your leg when you hit someone?"
It does. It's a proven scientific fact.
There's a guy out right now. His name slips my mind. Missy knows who he is. He's an indie wrestler, and he puts out these videos of indie wrestlers and what they should look like and what they look like. And I laugh so
My
hard.
boys are huge fans of this guy. They send me stuff like that all the
I'm
time.
trying my hardest to get him on hashtag truth. There you go, Missy. Thank you. Jack Vaughn. Jack Vaughn, if you guys don't go look up Jack Vaughn on Facebook and watch his reels, being an indie wrestler, you will laugh hysterically. Unless you're doing what he's saying you're doing. Then you won't be laughing. But he had one where he was talking about, the guys you meet in the locker room, part one. And I haven't seen part two yet, but you go in and he's like the smelly trunks guy where he opens up the thing. And you can smell the trunks, from all the way over. And you got the guy over doing weird stretches in the corner. His legs are wrapped around his head. I was just laughing hysterically, man. I mean, it's so good. And he was talking about, one of the videos was about the slap, where these guys get so used to slapping that every move they do, no matter what it is, they got to slap their leg.
That's right.
And
it's a habit.
Hilarious.
It's a habit.
It's hilarious.
I've met guys that'll shake your hand and slap their leg at the same time.
Ron Emerson said they are hilarious. They are, without a doubt. Well, guys, man, we've been on for an hour and 7 minutes. I'm gonna have to shut this thing down. I don't want it to be too long because then you lose viewers, and you guys understand I'm all about getting viewers. So, Chris Thunder Anderson, I appreciate you coming on, brother. Anytime you want to come on, Bru, Capone, the leader of the Appalachian Mafia, you come on anytime. You know that. Where will you be tomorrow night? You talking to them or me, Missy? She's probably talking to me. I'm not going to be anywhere tomorrow night if you're talking to me, because my left leg, everybody knows about my leg. My foot right now is swollen so big that I can't even put a tennis shoe on. So I'm grounded for a week. My doctor wants me to stay at home. I've got this beanbag looking thing here. I got to raise my leg up over my head and get the swelling to go down before I'm even able to walk.
I will be wherever she's at.
Exactly.
unless I'm somewhere else. Unless she sends me somewhere else.
And Bru, you said you're going to be where tomorrow?
I will be at ACW Turkey Bash 2, 8818 West Highway 10 in Vail.
There you go. Missy said you're going to be at JWA. Oh, she meant HWA.
Oh.
JWA. I was about to ask, where's JWA? But
I thought maybe she meant Jack Wagon Association or something. I didn't know what she was talking about.
There might be a company out there named that. I wouldn't doubt it.
If not, we'll start one.
There you go. We'll have to do some of them Vaughn videos like that and call it Jack Wagon Association. Oh, there you go. There's a good one. Jesus Wrestling Alliance. There you go. That would be a good one. That would be a good wrestling place. But yeah, guys, I appreciate you coming on. Without a doubt, both guys here have been in the business for over 20 years. Bru's been a referee, a manager, and so on and so forth. Chris Thunder Anderson, wrestling for 26 plus years. And still, every time he does that move, he just makes me cringe. And I'm pretty sure I'm going to see it sometime in the near future. So, without a doubt, guys, come back Monday and Wednesday next week for hashtag truth. I'm going to have two great owner promoters on. One is going to be from Real Shoot Wrestling. The other one's going to be from Stranglehold Championship Wrestling. You're going to want to come and watch those. I'm really interested to hear what these guys have to say. Hey, you found somebody that looks better than you, Brew. I like it. I like it.
Growling at you, Scott.
Was he?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I got you. Well, he's too far away to eat me, so I'm not scared. All right, guys, that's it. Thank you for watching Hashtag Truth. I want to thank everybody, Missy, Robert, everybody who came in and spoke tonight. It's been a pleasure. Oh, wait a minute. Who just came in? Who was that?
That's the Mass Marvel.
Do it again. Do it again. Let me see. Do it again.
That's the Jack Wagon Association Heavyweight Champion.
That's the Jack Wagon Association Heavyweight Champion right there. I like it. Well, on that note, we'll be back Monday night and Wednesday night of next week, and that is the Hashtag Truth. We'll see you guys Monday.